I wanted to talk about doing things alone. Um, for like the longest time since I can remember, I feel like I've been doing things alone, especially since I'm an introvert. And I feel like it wasn't up until really a couple of years ago where down to like now where I started to really realize the advantage of doing things alone and just not having to wait for someone or a certain feeling or something to get me to do something. And honestly, I sort of like it because it's like a challenge. Okay, let's see how far I can take this. Let's see how much I can do. Um, I feel like really once I got to college, technically every day you're doing things alone. At least for me, it's like okay, like I'm walking into the unknown every day. So mouse would just take it day by day and see what happens and you know just go for it. But uh for sure in terms of recently, I feel like I just been really thinking about the things that I can really be doing and to just do them alone, especially since there's nothing stopping me honestly but me. Um but honestly, yes, the idea is something I've been thinking about a lot, but would love to make a reality, especially for like traveling more of like the bigger things. Um but for like the longest time when I was younger, I feel like I always had to, like, again, there's nothing, like, it's not like there's nothing wrong with wanting to do things with people. Um, and I feel like I was always waiting for that feeling or to do something with someone or a group of people. But there's like, there's pros and cons to that. I feel like, there's pros and cons to everything, but I feel like there's just so much more, many pros and cons when you're like having to rely on like a group of people or just some of the people and like I feel like just so many things can go wrong compared to whenever you're doing things on your own and you just have to worry about yourself and you can just do as you please and not have any and just not have to worry about anything but yourself and your own safety and whatever you have planned for that trip or that day. And yeah, I feel like although I've always been a homebody or an introvert and just staying to myself, I feel like just the more I get older the more I just really start to appreciate you know being alone and just like being in my own company. um Sometimes the thought of like doing things with others crosses my mind. It's like, oh, that would be fun, da da da, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's like I have myself and I go back home to myself, right? Like I'm just with myself 24/7. Like no one knows me more than myself. So it's just like it's nothing more freeing than just not having to feel like I'm performing or more so just just being my authentic self and doing the things I like instead of compromising or I don't know, just having to worry about certain things. Even though it's like I'm open to doing things with friends or whatever. And honestly in those moments I'm not gonna be thinking about um certain things that can possibly get in the way. I'm just gonna really try to live in the moment and just enjoy it because I really, really love to. I'm really trying to like be in the moment, and stay present and just cherish everything. So either way, it's like I'm down. It's like it's gonna be a vibe. It's gonna be fun, but there's just so many downsides. I feel like when you're when you're a person that can be just stuck on waiting for someone or waiting to do certain things with someone. Because like at that point, she's like, okay, I gotta just do this by myself. I really want to do this thing. Time isn't going any slower. I'm not getting any younger. So let's go. And I really just appreciate those moments of life where I have those types of realizations or I act on them and I act on them and or maybe and just really just challenge myself. I feel like it's more just about the challenge. There's so many things that an everyday person does in terms of like basic needs or whatever, but one thing about me is like I love a challenge, especially when it comes down to like exploring more within myself, my intellect, and just really the world. So it's like that's just like adventurous and fun. So if people's schedules isn't, aligning and whatever things aren't working out, at that point you just gotta really just thug it out and do it yourself. And it's just so comforting, it's relaxing. And also it's also for me like a uh recharging like my battery. Like let's say if I am out, I'm hanging out with friends or whatever, going back home to myself is like the best thing because now I can recharge. It's like, okay, get my energy back and relax and just it's just like the most soothing thing. And I feel like whenever you're comfortable with yourself and you know who you are and you just really enjoy your own company, that's when things just really start coming so smoothly and aligning in terms of what you want to do with your life or for a trip. And the older I get, and the more that I realize that it makes me more excited for life and for the things to explore, as well as just like the things that come with those things, like the unknown. I was so paranoid about like the unknown for like the longest time, but I had to realize in short terms that like I technically walk into the unknown every day. I never know what's going to happen the next day, but I just, if I, even if I'm sticking with a routine, and with me having that routine keeps me grounded, it makes me have some type of stability because there's like a routine going on, even though if I don't know what's going to happen. There's so many times where, especially within school, you have the same routine, but something within that routine may change or something interesting may happen. So it's like, just thinking of it like that makes me want to try to even think bigger, keep have that same mentality, but for like bigger things, just to accomplish and to really just excel in. Because I feel like, if I keep waiting or if I just keep thinking about it, but there's no action, it's just like, what were you doing all that time? Why were you doing that? Just thinking all that time instead of just actually doing, no matter how scary it is, because like it's going to be scary regardless, especially if it's new and you've never done it before or whatever. But just knowing that I took that challenge and did it and explored or did whatever I said I was going to do and I got through it and I seen what happened, that just makes me even more excited for, it just makes it even more exciting for the those types of trips, future trips and just life. Um but I feel like honestly too, at least for me, being alone is like one of the best things for myself. Um Even if it looks like something else to others, it's like that care about me. It's like Um, to me, it's like, no, I'm literally just chilling. I'm literally having fun. I'm just enjoying my company and I'm loving it. I'm taking it a day at a time and, just teaching myself too that not every day, not, yeah, every day of my life have to be like a hustle bustle type of thing where I'm always have to constantly move and be productive. Like, no, I can relax or I can, just let myself breathe, think, reflect, and just take the time within my life to just do just that, actually enjoy life, instead of just being on survival mode, because that's how majority of us are living, just being in survival mode instead of just actually taking everything in of what's around us. um so I just really love my time. I love doing things alone or like seeking out what more I can do alone. um and it's just adventurous and it's a story. And that I think having side quests and whatever to tell in the future or to just keep to myself, whatever, it's just so liberating and it's amazing. Because even when I think about college, it's like I didn't know what the hell was going to happen with college. Technically, every day of my life that I was in college was the unknown. I didn't know how things were going to happen or how it's going to come out. I just had to take it a day at a time. And with me doing so and finally making it out and graduating, it's like, wow, those were like the best years of my life. Or maybe I could have done a little bit more, but I had fun because if anything, that was really the start of me exploring myself and just the city and all that stuff. um that's where it really starts. Like that's where the growth and everything starts. And it just depends on what you do in your free time. Like for me, I'm not really much of a party person. I didn't really care for it. um or I like to have fun in other ways. So it's just like, you know, just figuring out more of what I like, what I don't like, or you know, finding like community or whatever. Even though for me, I didn't really feel like I found my community. I was really just to myself or kept my circle small. Um, I feel like it's more. It really just depends on like the type of person you are, type of personality you have, and energy you have too, and whatever you're used to. Cause me, I do not like big crowds or anything like that. Just I like keeping things small, and honestly, just going, just being by myself. So I feel like because I'm so used to that, is what makes it so beautiful. Honestly, because just like at least I can, be with myself. I can tolerate myself or whatever, have fun. Um, Although there's nothing wrong with companionship or having friends and wanting to do something, because those thoughts and those feelings still, happen. But it's like, in the end, it's like, okay, we gotta just do this thing by myself. And, for future goals that I do have planned and want to achieve, it's like I'm really excited to make those things happen and just to see how it unfolds. Because I feel like there's so many times mentally where I'm telling myself, or having doubts, and I'm telling myself the wrong thing or just making myself worry. But it's like soon as I see how the reality plays out, it's like, okay, it wasn't that bad. I was overthinking it and I was just doing the most, but I had fun and I'm really happy I did this. And I think that's like one of the biggest achievable things too, and best feelings is just knowing that I done it. I said it, I planned it, I did the research, and I went along with it, and now I'm back home. I went through the trip. I seen what it was about, and I had the most liberating, fun time, and explored and learned so much. Maybe even met some people, right? So, just the whole thing of turning something like a thought, fantasy into reality makes, you know, especially doing it alone or whatever, makes it so much more, makes me just more curious. And I feel like it's going to be one of those things, especially when it comes down to traveling, that like once I do it, I'm not gonna want to stop. I'm gonna want to keep going, and I'm gonna want to keep, you know, just doing things. And if someone want to come, they want to come with me. But I feel like, you know, after a while, you just get used to doing things on your own. That's just like, I rather not. Um, because there's still so much for me to learn, explore, and to do within my life and within those elements. So I just know once I have those accomplishments um achieved, I will feel so much more better and just happy for myself, especially as a person that's, doing like the bare minimum alone. So yeah, I feel like doing things alone or just being alone in a way, of course it's a choice, but I feel like there's also like this privilege with it, because it's like, you know, at least for me, that's how I think. I feel like it's like it's both sides. Like it's a choice to be alone, but it's also in a way a privilege. Um, it's a privilege for both to have people, but to also know, like, to know yourself and to know your boundaries enough to know when you need a break. Um, but yeah, doing things alone, and I feel like there's just so much within this world to just not want to just like to not explore, or to be able to explore. So it's like, why not? Why wait? Why keep thinking about it? Or, why not just take those risks, those small steps that make to get to something bigger and a much greater goal. Even if it's really intimidating, because fear is always going to be there, even if it's so small. Um, it's going to creep up, it's going to be there, it's going to be scary, but it's like that's the best part is when you're doing something scary, or doing something when you're scared because you're excited. Either you feel like you got this positive hunch that there's going to be something good coming out of this, or you know whatever. And I feel like once those moments are achieved, I will feel like I'm just really giving myself the life that I deserve, um, and that I honestly need, especially mentally. So yeah.